What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my tag team partner, Tim from Pro Wrestling Unlimited. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Finished off my weekend, had a good couple of days and whatnot. And now here talking wrestling, catching up on all the wrestling. There's been a lot of wrestling the last couple of days to catch up on from WWE, having towards the end of the week. WWE had SmackDown, and then the same night we had Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and then we had 2 nights of the G1 and Collision, and it's hard to keep up with everything. I'm still trying to get. I'm like 2 days behind on the G1, I think.
Yeah, no, I feel bad. I'm behind on the G1 as well, but I see a lot of my friends tweeting stuff about they're watching it real time or watching it like within the next day, and I heard nothing but just great things so far. And I'm like, where did he find the time? I mean,
right?
It literally, think about it. You got WWE, who has 3 shows a week. You got AEW, which has 3 shows as well. You got Impact, if you care about Impact. You got New Japan doing their thing right now. Ring of Honor weekly as well, and the pay-per-view this week. I'm just like, man, like I get it if that's your full-time job covering it, then I'm sure it's a lot easier, maybe just with your schedule. But for a lot of people who maybe have other jobs and whatnot, for me, it's just tough to find time to watch it. Then get my notes together and then actually record the podcast and then, edit it, post it, do the social media, all that stuff. It's a lot of work. So, somehow I got to find, time to watch it. But then again, I kind of like when people just post clips on Twitter and be like, oh, okay, get a quick little Cliff Notes version of what's been going on.
With G1, I watch it more in the background while I'm working on other things.
Okay.
But what's the best thing to watch? The best way to watch G1 is just basically go on Twitter the next day and people say these 3-4 matches are the matches you need to watch, because you don't need to watch all 8, 9, 10 matches that they do every night. So I like you go on Twitter and just be like, hey, here are the top 3 matches to watch. Go check those ones out and go from there.
Okay, cool. Good to know. So maybe I'll start doing that as well. I'll kind of see what's going on, and then
because there was a match last night. I think it was Naito and Toru Yano, and Naito was just screwing with them at one point, where Naito walked out and just stood on the ramp and let his music play, and Yano's like, "You're gonna get in the ring," and then Naito leaves, goes to the back. His music plays again. He comes back out, and he's just screwing with them, and they're like, "So is the match going to be longer than the entrance?" Because they usually have short matches between Yano and Naito.
Yeah. But man, I mean, here's my issue. I think I would watch it more often if they had an actual New Japan World app. I don't get it. Why they don't not have a dedicated app that you can download onto your Roku or whatever, streaming service.
They do have one for the Fire Stick.
Oh, for the Fire Stick. Okay.
The Amazon Fire Stick. But I usually watch on my computer anyway, so.
Okay, so no, but for me on my iPhone, there was a New Japan World app, but you need a Chromecast to sync it up to. And look, I have a Chromecast, but it's just
that is the weird thing, because even on Android, when you go to the app, when you go to watch something, it sends it to your browser.
Yeah, and then what sucks is I'm trying to watch it by using my phone through my Chromecast, and I can't even rewind or fast forward. It's just it's a pain in the ass. It's like, come on, guys.
Their Fire Stick app is great.
Okay, all right, maybe that's the next thing. It's like my back of my TV is gonna be plugged in with all these different.
The Amazon Fire Stick is the best thing you can ever get for watching stuff, because then I can just show you how to bootleg it, and you can watch any movie you want anytime and this and that. But that's a whole other story. I love the Amazon Fire Stick. I love the Fire Stick.
Off-air conversation. All right, I will look onto that. I should have maybe got that for was it Amazon Prime Day a couple weeks or last week. Damn it, I missed out on it. But here we are. This is gonna be our weekend review for everything WWE this week. So much happened. For me, I'm just playing catch up on SmackDown just a little while ago here, and so much to talk about. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. The first topic, let's just talk about the man of the week, Dominik Mysterio.
Ooh, boy.
He main evented not 1, not 2, but all 3 shows this week: Raw, NXT, and SmackDown.
That's a first, right?
I think so. That's what people online are saying. I was trying to think in my head, who else could have been on all 3 shows? I mean, I was thinking in the last couple of years, AJ Styles was bouncing around for a bit, but I don't think anyone else has done that, just gone from all 3 shows. I know Edge, when he won the Royal Rumble, he was kind of going around each show and teasing or taunting who he might pick to challenge for the title.
Yeah, because I believe he's the first person to be on all 3 in 1 week in the main event match.
Exactly. So, hey man, props to Dom, Dirty Dom.
Technically on SmackDown, he didn't go on last. That was Roman and Jay, but main event match. So you could still
last match. Yes. So let's talk about that though. Just big picture, him main eventing. That I think that says a lot.
Oh yeah,
from higher powers that be that have a lot of faith in him to be a part of all 3 shows this week. That shows that they really have high hopes for him, right? Or high expectations.
I mean, who's a bigger, better heel than Dirty Dom right now in any company? Who gets more heat than Dom? I mean, some try to say
Callis.
Yeah.
I
don't even think it is.
No, not at all. I mean, Dom can't even get a word out when he talks. When he gets the microphone and he says like 1 or 2 words, and the crowd just rips into him, drowns him out. And so he just stands there and he's like looking around and be like, oh my God, like no one can hear me. And I'm sure deep down he loves it. And like early on when it was happening, you could tell the Judgment Day Finn, and then we're kind of like leaning into him and probably telling him like, dude, like eat it up, man. This is awesome. So I'm sure like from a performer standpoint, they love all this attention they're getting. So great stuff. But
he's a ratings draw.
Well, and I wonder even maybe he's needed for selling tickets, which I'll get into in a second. So let's talk about the second match of the week. He was on NXT this week, challenging Wesley for the NXT North American Championship. This came off last week where him and mommy Rhea Ripley showed up and he just challenged Wesley. He's like, hey man, you've done these open challenges. And he's like, yeah, not for a while. I was like, all right, I challenge you. And he's like, what? So they had this match this week. It was an okay match. I know there was one spot where Wesley got dropped on his head and the crowd was chanting, you're not ready. And I mean, that's just that NXT crowd can be harsh because it's a smaller room and everything they yell can be heard much more clearly on TV. I saw one point where Dom was getting up on the ropes and was looking at the crowd yelling, shut up. And I was like, whoa, he's like trying to interact with them, talking back to them. But yeah, with the help of the Judgment Day, the remaining members showed up. Rhea distracted ref, but then Finn came out. Damian Priest tried to hit Wesley. Wesley was able to get out of it. Then Rhea ultimately hit him with the belt, and then Dom got the pin for the win. So Dominik Mysterio is now your brand new NXT North American champion. So yeah, Tim, your thoughts on that? I know a lot of people were like, wait, that's not fair. He's a main roster guy going to NXT. Solo went to the main roster and had to immediately vacate it. So yeah, but your thoughts on all that stuff?
Well, I mean, Dolph Ziggler won the NXT championship but didn't have to vacate it or anything.
Perfect.
So
yeah, exactly.
There's already the president's put up there. And we've seen other people, go down to NXT and work and this and that. Now, as far as the match does go, the match wasn't all that, it was good. I wouldn't call it a great match or anything. And Dom's coming up on his 3-year anniversary. Because remember, his debut was SummerSlam 2020 against Seth Rollins. That was his first actual match, not training.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, the other thing too is I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he's not ready." It's like, dude, when he got started, like COVID was starting, right? Or like he probably started training 2019. I'm guessing roughly. If I remember correctly,
he had been training for a couple of years, but Ray was doing the whole. You're going to go to different places that I know are good for training, and you're going to learn. So he sent him to like Mexico. He sent him to Canada to train with Lance Storm. He trained a little with Brian Kendrick at their school in LA. And he sent them all around. And Ray was like, I'm not going to rush you. I'm not going to try and push anything as far as I'm with WWE. So let's get my kid in WWE. I mean, that's what happened eventually, but that was never Ray's goal. Like Ray was saying it and stuff, but Dom had been training off and on. I don't know how frequent for a couple of years. And he comes in, has the match with Seth Rollins. He had done some stuff on WWE television already, like getting beat up by Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know, early on was it 2019. He was coming out with Ray, being in his corner, helped try to beat down Brock Lesnar. Ultimately took F5, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But yeah, his actual first match with ring gear was Seth. So he didn't have that traditional upbringing of going on the indie scene or maybe have a bunch of matches. So he's been learning on the fly in WWE. I mean, definitely talk about being thrown to the wolves. You got to give him credit. In the last 3 years, he's definitely improved, right? I mean,
well, no. Yes, he has improved, but you would think with him working with all these top guys, like he's worked with basically everybody in WWE but Roman, you would think.
Yeah.
And he's still making these mistakes. Like on SmackDown, he messed up the finish of the match.
I saw that. Yeah.
He went to go for the pin on Butch, and he was under the ropes himself, and the referee had to play it real and was like, hey, I can't count it. You're under the ropes. I can't count it. And so basically she was trying to tell him, move Butch so I can count the pin, but she didn't want to say it. And so, I mean, he's still making rookie mistakes for being 3 years in. I mean, from a character perspective, though, I do think he's doing really well there. Like, he's doing great character-wise with Judgment Day and all of that. But it's just like, for being as far into his career as he already is, working with the people he's been working with, you would expect more from him.
Gotcha. Okay. Totally understand from that standpoint. But yeah, you're right.
Like you said, he didn't work the indies. So it's not like he's going out working a match with, I don't know, Brett, who was, there was somebody I saw recently that was really bad. And it's like, there's apparently only their second match ever. Of course, they're not going to be good working with other people that have barely had any matches. And so it's like Dom's not going out there working with those type of people that are still learning themselves. He's working with people that have been doing this for a decade.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. So jumping ahead to Friday on SmackDown, he showed up to SmackDown with the North American Championship with Rhea Ripley, and he's like, hey, I want to show my deadbeat dad what's it like to be a champion. And then Butch came up and said, hey, we're here in Orlando, home of NXT. Let's have a match tonight. And he's like, we're not going to make that happen. And Shawn Michaels showed up, and he is the NXT GM, if you want to call that, whatever, it's his title. And I said, I'll talk to Adam Pearce. We'll make it official. So it turned into the main event for SmackDown. But you're right, that finish where Butch got, by the way, you see Shawn Michaels, like, he was saying, let's have a match with Butch, but he kind of stalled. Like, I think
he was going to change his name. I thought he was about to change his name. I thought he was going to do it.
Yeah, look, he was like, Pete, but he stalled and collected himself and said Butch. But to the finish of the match, Butch got pushed into the side of the ring post. And then it looked like Dom, I think the goal was he was going to pin him and put his feet on the ropes.
Oh, maybe.
But because it looked like he was going to try to jump and put his feet up there. But his body was under the ropes, and the ref was like, dude, get out. You guys scooted it out. And then he pushed Butch out a little bit further into the middle of the ring, and just went for the straight pin, and then still just picked up the victory. But it was a botch finish there for that main event.
He was in the moment trying to go too quick and wasn't thinking. And again, rookie mistakes for someone that's, 3 years in working with those people, are you still a rookie?
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's talk about that, because I think a lot of people thought Dominik should have maybe came up through NXT. He didn't. He just jumped right to the main roster, as you said, back 2020. So he's definitely had to learn with the big boys.
And are we seeing people like Braun Breaker and Tiffany Stratton, who are only a couple years in, making those same mistakes? Not really.
No. Yeah, you're right. So that's the thing. But let's talk about now. What are your thoughts on Judgment Day being on NXT? Now they've been on the last couple of weeks now. Dom looks like he's probably going to be a regular fixture for a while, depending how long this title reign is. So two-part here. As far as your thoughts on Judgment Day being part of NXT as well. And then do you think this is a ploy to help maybe sell tickets for Great American Bash, which is next weekend? It's going to be in Texas. Another premium live event for NXT, another pay-per-view for them outside the Performance Center in an arena. I'm sure they probably need extra help selling that, maybe some more star power. So they're bringing in people from the main roster. So what are your thoughts on just where Judgment Day is being helping out with NXT?
So we've seen the last couple of weeks on NXT when they announce that Judgment Day is going to be on the show, no matter if they just say it's just Dom and Rhea or it's all of Judgment Day, whatever, the ratings have been up way more than they normally do. So with that, they are helping tremendously. They are helping greatly. And this is the perfect time where they need that, because TV negotiations. And when NXT ratings are going up, then that's saying, hey, this is another property doing pretty good. And then when they can say, hey, we did better than AEW shows last week with NXT, we outdrew Collision, well, of course they're going to outdraw Rampage.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, we're outdrawing with our lowest rated show 2 of their 3 shows. So, because there's now that rumor that Warner Brothers Discovery could be interested in WWE content.
Wow.
Yeah.
What if they're both on the same network?
Because apparently AEW doesn't have an exclusive with Warner Brothers Discovery where they're the only wrestling on their networks or whatever.
And right now, if you want to go a little bit bigger picture here, you look at Hollywood right now with the strike going on between sports and wrestling. That's you got live content to fill time where no TV shows, no movies are being worked on right now because of the writers and actors strikes.
Well, not no TV shows, because reality shows like The Voice and America's Got Talent.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't fall into, because it's only scripted shows.
Yeah,
but still, like those shows are. It's not like wrestling or sports where they're multiple weeks throughout the year, multiple days throughout the week. It's okay. Those shows got to go film for however long they film, and then they put the episodes out. It's still like a scripted show per se, the way that it rolls out and stuff. So sports right now, wrestling, sports, whatever you want to say, is the key property of, hey, we need content. And I know like CBS said, we don't, we're losing shows right now for our fall lineup. So what we've never done before is air Yellowstone on CBS. It's always been on the Paramount Network.
And so ABC too.
Are they? I haven't seen anything for ABC.
So ABC, I heard we're going to replay Miss Marvel from Disney, the Disney Plus show.
That's a good one. That'd be great.
Yes. Yeah, if you have a chance to check that out. So yeah, they're going to play some Disney Plus shows on ABC.
That's a really good idea. Do the Marvel shows on ABC. But yeah, so because Yellowstone does great numbers on the Paramount Network, which is a low-rated network. And so if they now put that show on CBS from the beginning, they're starting from the beginning.
Wow.
So yeah, but we'll see how that does. I assume it's going to do well because it's right now you can watch it on the Paramount Network or on, I think, Peacock. I think it might be on Paramount Plus, but I know everybody I know watches Yellowstone on Peacock.
I see the Instagram ads for it all the time. I'm like, apparently it's telling me I need to watch this show. But yeah,
but so with me bringing, the reason I brought the CBS stuff up is because now you've got the random people online. Oh, could the USA Network and NBC do a deal where they bring Raw over to NBC if NBC needs content? Where not on Mondays though, because Mondays they have The Voice.
Oh wow! And then, well, okay, football is coming up, both college and NFL. So ESPN will be okay there. But see, that's the thing. Monday Night Football went to ESPN a few years ago. They left ABC. I wonder if they could put it back on ABC.
They simulcast on ABC periodically. They have for the last few years.
So maybe, and then maybe they can do that at some point.
And then NBC's got. They now have college football on Saturday nights, and then they have Sunday Night Football on NBC. Yeah. So they're good on the weekends.
It's it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen in the next few months. The longer this strikes goes on, I'm curious what the fall program is gonna look like across all the networks.
I know with at least the writer's strike. I know there was a couple executives at Disney that were like, "We're gonna let this stretch out. If they lose their homes, they lose their homes. It's on them."
That's so harsh. God. Well, I'm with the writers specifically. I hope they get what they can from this. But yeah, I follow up for anyone who's listening. Last time you and I chatted, unfortunately, my interview with Anthony Mackie got canceled. So, the day after,
Joe was supposed to be at Comic-Con all weekend, and they weren't doing any promotion for Twisted Metal. So he's like, "Hey, I can work the Ring of Honor pay-per-view now." That's why they set up his Castle.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't supposed to be there originally.
Yeah, when Fran Drescher said we're striking at midnight, and then literally the next morning, I got an email that says, interviews all canceled because they can't do press right now with the strike. So, but yeah, going back to that's hence why big picture WWE right now is really valuable for live programming, and then going back to Judgment Day using their star power to carry not only Raw and NXT, and even a little bit of SmackDown this week as well.
And just one last thing on the Judgment Day thing. The report is that they want to use Judgment Day on NXT for the big picture, like long term, not just, oh, Dominik holds the title for a little bit and then we go from there. Like, they see the worth of Judgment Day, so they want him on every show. Hence why a Raw guy defended an NXT title on SmackDown.
Yeah, like I know some people are really complaining about, oh, it's a definitive brand split. I don't get super caught up into it. I try to suspend disbelief a little bit as far as, okay, he's defending an NXT title. I know it's a stretch there. I don't get super like, oh my God, how dare they? But I don't know. Do you get super caught up like, oh, it's a brand split? Like how?
I mean, in a way, I would wish that it was, more tightened up. But we know it's not. So why get all in a tizzy over it?
And as kind of the reports are saying, and I'm sure, Tim, you reported on this, it looks like the Judgment Day is going to be the big faction once kind of the bloodline stuff finishes or wraps up. The Judgment Day is going to be the next big group that's going to have a storyline around it, which we kind of see the seeds being planted here. Was it on Raw? Let me see.
The last couple of weeks, really.
Yeah. Like Damian and Finn were not on the same page, and then they hugged it out after they win. So right now, Judgment Day is fine.
Because Damian keeps doing the thing of, oh, I believe in you, Finn. You're going to beat Seth for the belt. And if you don't, well, I got this case.
Yeah, so right now, it's interesting. You see Rhea Ripley with the Women's World Championship, Dom with the North American Championship now. Finn has nothing, and then Damian has the briefcase. As you and I talked about, I believe was it last time, I imagine at some point they're all going to have gold at some point, draped in gold.
Right.
I guess Dom getting the North American Championship also kind of makes sense because he's not going to be Gunther for that IC title.
No.
He's not on Raw, or excuse me, he's not on SmackDown, can't go after the US title. So North American Championship it seems like the good belt to go after. And by the way, for the Solo people complaining about he won it and then had to vacate it, that was technically not a sanctioned match, right? Didn't he just show up on that episode of NXT?
I think so. I don't remember fully, but I think you're right.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but let's talk about Judgment Day, specifically Finn Balor now. So this week, Seth Rollins was talking to Byron Saxton for a sit down, and then I like how Finn just showed up, and that back and forth exchange, I really loved it. I think you and I talked about probably last month. I enjoyed how rumors were Vince kind of got involved with the creative and wanted more heat between the two of them before their match at Money in the Bank. And I actually liked kind of that decision because it added more fuel to the fire than beating up each other. Now it's good, and it's been official. They're gonna have a rematch at SummerSlam for the world title. It's this sit down here. I enjoyed it. Like, it just shows that Finn is just eating away at him. He wants to get not only his revenge over Seth for what's been eating at him for the last 7 years, but also wants to get a world title here. And it ultimately led to Finn beating down Seth Rollins here. What'd you think of that exchange between the two of them?
Oh, I thought the whole segment was great. The best, to me, that was like the best thing on the show for this past Monday's Raw. But I thought, Finn was really good, but Seth was on another level with his delivery.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought Seth was just fantastic.
And then we saw,
just the one thing, keeping with that real fast, Finn should win.
I think so too.
Especially being at the match being at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I know this is not a predictions video yet, but I really do think Finn should win this. I mean, Seth now had it. He got it in May, so it'd be 2 months or almost 2.5 months by the time SummerSlam gets there. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. While the WWE title, Universal title, is obviously on this epic run right now with Roman, I see the world title. This one can have shorter reigns and kind of can bounce around a little bit more for more maybe short form or engaging stories with the WWE roster, the superstars. So yeah, I could totally see Seth dropping the title here and Finn gets it and it kind of adds to Judgment Day's just appeal or dominance on Raw. I haven't had a chance to watch the full interview, but wasn't there a part with Seth Rollins' interview with Logan Paul and he said he revealed how like beat up he is body wise.
Yeah, he says he's had a back issue since 2019 and other nagging injuries as well. He said he's tried, I think, stem cell.
Yeah,
and that's helped, but it's not permanent. It's a temporary help, and so yeah, he said he's pretty banged up, but doesn't see. He goes, but I'm still working a full-time WWE schedule, and I don't see myself slowing down anytime soon.
Okay, well, I'm just curious. I wonder if Seth loses to Finn, drops the title. I wonder if Seth might take some time off and maybe, take the rest of the year off and come back Royal Rumble or something. I'm just speculating. I if those injuries are really affecting him, I would not be surprised if that could happen. And, I know I'm bouncing all around here. You look like someone like Bobby Lashley, who we'll talk about later, but he's been gone for like the last 3 months, and now something's brewing with him. I'm all for wrestlers taking time off. That way we miss them. We don't get burnt out seeing them. And then when they do come back, it has a big impact and can add like a big injection of adrenaline to a storyline or add some spark to a new storyline. So with Seth here, I'm all for if he needs to take time off and then can kind of free up the main event scene a little bit more and get some new bodies involved. So we'll see here. But then I just do want to say, the main event was, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. They put their titles on the line against the Judgment Day against, it was, Dom and Damian Priest here. So Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn picked up the victory. As of right now, it doesn't really seem like, where is Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn direction? They've been going against Judgment Day. Is that this going to lead to?
I have no clue at all.
I don't know.
I mean, I would have thought that this would have been the SummerSlam match, but then they do it on Raw. Yeah. And granted, we do still have
2 weeks,
3 weeks. No, is it a week?
Raw this week.
2 weeks from yesterday. Yeah, 2 more Raws. So it's like we do have 2 weeks, but it's like, oh man, we just did the title match. They won. It wasn't like they won and there was some like screwy finish or anything. It was just they won. They retained the titles, and then they're not teasing or building up anybody else for the tag titles. So it's like, what do they even do?
As you and I talked about in a previous episode, they have a lot of matches potentially lined up for SummerSlam. Like I think you and I ran down possible scenarios. It's double digits right now. And I know for Triple H, his era of creative, he doesn't do more than 7. So I could see them doing more because it's just one night of SummerSlam this year.
Yeah.
And SummerSlam they want to treat like WrestleMania 2.0.
For just the Raw brand alone, there's like 6 matches.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it in a little bit. It looks like potentially 4 women's matches, which is awesome. But I could totally see maybe the tag titles just take the night off at SummerSlam, which it's unfortunate because Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens' star power would be fun for the home or the Detroit crowd. I mean, I was going to say home because it's their first premium live event back in the U.S. and since WrestleMania. So I'm sure the U.S. crowd would love the sing along, the Sami Zayn song. So I don't know. We'll see. Unless they rush into something for SummerSlam. I don't know. But yeah, so no, it's definitely been a fun week for Dirty Dom. By the way, who came up with the Dirty Dom name? They just came out of nowhere. So, but yeah, no, Judgment Day are definitely ruling WWE right now, and it's very exciting stuff. A lot of fun. All right, let's move on over to the Bloodline. Of course, we know they've been dominating WWE for the longest time now. The latest is now they're setting up Roman's match against Jey Uso. So it is official. Roman will defend the WWE Universal title against his cousin, Jey Uso. And it looks like it's going to be tribal combat. So on SmackDown this week, we saw the two of them have pretty much like a contract signing or kind of lack of as far as Jey ripping it up. They talked it out. This comes off the heels of Jey last week, super kicking Paul Heyman solo. He's just pissed off that Roman beat up his brother. Jimmy's out of action for the time being. This week, they have the face off. Roman's back on SmackDown, and for Jey, Roman signed the contract, gave it to Jey. Jey ripped it up and said, "This is blood, man. I don't need to sign no papers." And said, "Yeah, let's have tribal combat." And like everything's on the line. He said tables, chairs, any weapon, I guess, that's available. It sounds like
he said, I want to use the weapons on you.
By the way, Roman tried not to laugh when he said, when Jay said, I could grab that lady's shoe and smack you across the face. So,
I guess tribal combat means street fight?
I guess so, yeah.
They really didn't say.
I wonder, will they come out in different gear? Like, I always like when there's a street fight and the wrestlers come out in different gear, like jeans and, kind of protection for their body, just to show that, hey, this is serious here. So, but it ultimately led to Solo trying to, I was gonna say thumb Jay, spike Jay. Roman stopped him, but then Jay still super kicked Solo and stuff. So, what'd you think about this lack of a contract signing between the two of them?
I'm gonna say I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was great or anything. It was kind of because again, they kind of told us what the match is, but they didn't. They basically said it's anything goes, but they really, I don't know. I'm interested in the match. I thought that their two matches in 2020 were both really, really good. So I think the two work well together, whether it's in tag team action, whether it's in singles action. We've seen it both ways. So I have a lot of faith in the match. And then you got the Solo, dynamic. Jimmy's probably going to pop up towards the end of that match. Here's the one thing. Did I hear this wrong, or did Jay really say that Jimmy is still in the hospital?
That's a serious beatdown, man.
Weeks later, still in the hospital.
No, he wasn't bleeding.
Did they at least transfer him to whatever city they live in? Not the hospital they took him to that night in whatever city they were in. It's like, is he still in some random city away from his family?
He's like, man, it was, man, that tribal chief beatdown is serious business, man. Like, but
Solo put him through that announce table.
Yeah, so the contract signing usually is like on a go home episode before pay-per-view. So this was a little early than normal.
Right.
You're right. There wasn't much to it. It was just more declaring tribal combat, which you and I, and I'm sure everyone else, it's up to our interpretation of what that is.
Did they tease more family getting involved? Because when Roman said, do the elders know about this? And Jay goes, it was the elders' idea. We get elders involved? Alpha, Sika, Rikishi.
I'm trying to think all the other ones that are alive and available to come on down.
Dwayne ain't working right now that the actor strike is going on.
And man, John Cena.
Right.
Well, we know John, made an appearance in London last month, but that was pre-strike. So I know I saw it when someone tweeted, it's like, hey, you got Rock and Cena available right now. I'm sure put them to work for WWE to fill time. Yeah. But it would be cool because I kind of thought with Money in the Bank, with the Civil War aspect, they were going to incorporate family. And I thought they were going to incorporate more family at some point with the Bloodline storyline. We did see Alpha and Sika when Roman officially became tribal chief a couple years ago when he got laid. And then, yeah, I'm surprised I haven't seen more of them. I know Rikishi will tweet stuff out, but I'd like to see maybe more of the family members, former wrestlers get involved, just to kind of maybe add a little more substance that this rivalry is affecting the family tree in some way.
Exactly, more than just the four of them on television.
Exactly. So it's going to be interesting how they're going to fill the next 2 weeks before SummerSlam. I'm guessing Roman won't be on next week. He'll probably be on maybe the go home episode. But yeah, what do you do now to kind of fill time up until SummerSlam?
Yeah, because we've seen the whole Jay shows up and talks. Heyman says, Roman will be here next week. You don't got to, and then, So it's like, I'm not saying I'm not liking the Bloodline story anymore, but things are getting a little redundant.
Yes. And I'm sure they have other tales they can tell. I mean, Solo and Roman's dynamic, their relationship going forward after SummerSlam.
Could we see a Triple H Batista kind of story with Solo and Roman, where Roman's just like, well, yeah, I keep him around because he does the stuff for me when I'm not here. But we all know that, like when Triple H said to Ric Flair one time, he's just a dumb meathead.
Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be something to break the relationship between Solo and Roman, where Solo begins not to trust Roman anymore and realize I'm like the last one here, and I don't like it either, and I need to get away, and that leads to the split, and you can get a match out of that for a premium live event. So
it's like, what has Roman told Solo that makes Solo want to go with his cousin and not his actual brothers?
Yes, and that's I give Solo credit, like his facial movements or is how he delivers some of his emotions on his face. That's impactful as far as doing the bare minimum, but I think we need to maybe start expanding Solo a little bit more of like his motivation. Where's he coming from? And I don't know if he needs to start speaking more, or at least Paul Heyman speaks on his behalf. I want to see Solo start developing a little bit more. He's coming up on a year now on the main roster. Let's kind of add some more layers to his character. So that could be something maybe after SummerSlam. So we still got a long time before WrestleMania, where everyone's kind of predicting Roman's going to drop the title there against Cody Rhodes. So yeah, we'll see about that. So, speaking of Cody Rhodes, that's a nice little segue right there. So this week on Raw, they were in Atlanta, Georgia, the hometown of Cody Rhodes. And as we know, last week he called out Brock Lesnar, challenged him to a rubber match for SummerSlam. This week he comes out, big hometown pop crowd. His family's ringside, his mom, sister, and everyone.
No Brandy.
Yeah, no, but that was shocking. Like, I guess that was his sister. Yeah.
So the only thing I can think of, maybe, and that's just me spitballing, because he was going to get beat up right in front of them. They didn't want Brandy and the baby there or something. I don't know. Maybe because the baby.
For the baby. Maybe more for the baby, probably.
Yeah.
Like, baby has just a year old or a little over a year old, has no idea that why his daddy getting beat up by this big scary man. So, but yeah, it's so he comes out and still wants to hear from Brock. Brock's delayed, but he finally does show up when Cody goes up the ramp and stomps up to the entrance, and gets beat up, laid out by Brock Lesnar, F5, submission hold, all that stuff. And I was kind of hoping Cody's mom would show a little more emotion, like, what are you doing? She was like, you suck. I was like, oh, come on, man.
Hey, stop that.
Yeah, come on.
Dusty taught her nothing?
Yes, that's my thing. It's like, come on, man. I thought Dusty would have taught her to show a little emotion, be like, I don't know, fake cry or something. Right. But she's just sitting there watching her son get beat up, and she's like, boo, you suck. I'm like, oh, come on. So, Cody gets laid out. Brock grabs the mic, he didn't grab the mic. He just yelled at him and said, match accepted. So we're going to get a third match.
He said, I'll see you at SummerSlam, bitch.
So we're going to get, the third, and I'm assuming final match between the two of them at SummerSlam. It's the continuing post-WrestleMania loss for Cody, I guess, proving he needs more hardship and to overcome the odds more in order to win a future title. So we're going to get the match. I'm curious how they're going to book this differently than the last two matches so far.
It needs a stip.
Yes, I think something just to make it different. And whatever stipulation is, that can maybe tie into how Cody picks up the victory over Brock Lesnar. So you can kind of protect Brock Lesnar a little bit, because he has looked weak in this feud. Rightfully so. I'm sure he's trying to help put Cody over. Lost to Cody first time at Backlash. Cody passed out from the pain, right? Was at Night of Champions, and then Cody and Dom had the match at Money in the Bank, a quick one off there.
Cody's got his wrist all taped up and whatnot again.
Yeah, at his premiere of his documentary.
He did it last night as well for the live event they worked.
Oh, really?
So here's the interesting thing. Cody posts a video on his Instagram signing autographs backstage, signing posters they could sell at the merch stand. Both wrists fine. No tape, no anything. But then when there's video of him during the match and celebrating with fans afterwards, wrists all taped up. So it's not as bad as it was before. The injury, we're supposed to think it's not as bad.
You should have said sign all these signatures, man. Like but it hurts a lot more than a Kimura lock from Brock Lesnar.
He's now in the John Cena spot because we see all those behind the scenes videos of Cena signs the poster and you got the guy pulling them as he's signing them. Now we get all those behind the scenes videos from Cody of him signing posters and weight belts, like hundreds of posters before a show.
Side note, I have a friend of mine who back in the 90s was helping out with the local wrestling promotion here. They were getting a bunch of autographs signed by the Undertaker, and my friend was the one supposed to help grab each picture, whatever it was, and put it to the side as Undertaker just quickly signs. Undertaker had his beer sitting there. My friend just moved the beer out of the way, and Taker in character said, "Don't touch my beer."
Wow.
And then afterwards, like they joked about it off, like, or
awesome.
someone else was like laughing, like, "Dude, why'd you do that to the Undertaker?" I'm that's the quick story version. I should have my friend tell this story properly, but yeah, no, it was a funny moment. Undertaker being the badass, he's like, "Don't touch my beer," or something like along those lines. But yeah, man, Cody, to his credit, man, signing all that stuff, like, man, one of those weight belts. That'd be cool to get a weight belt signed by Cody Rhodes. Just all the cool merch he has, and he is dominating with all the merch sales right now. One of the top ones. So yeah, that's the thing. It's like this match is coming up for SummerSlam. It's official. How are they gonna make this different compared to the last two? I think this needs to end here. And then, but where does Cody go after this? That's the big question.
I mean, I could maybe see. So Cody beats Brock. Cody then maybe earns a shot for the world championship, whether that's Finn or Seth Rollins, loses that, and then again has to build himself back up was the lead into 2024 Royal Rumble and so forth.
If I have a chance to ever talk to Cody again, which I hope so at some point, I know they announced Survivor Series for November, but it didn't say War Games, so a lot of people are speculating, is it not going to be War Games this year? Which I'm like, I'm fine right now. They can always add it later if it's deserving. It's like Hell in a Cell. I think a lot of people got annoyed that Hell in a Cell was always on the calendar. And you're like, all right, they're going to have to rush a feud together just in order to fulfill this, it's on the books. We got to do a Hell in a Cell match here. I'm fine not advertising War Games that far out, because then you're like, oh, well, at some point we're going to get a last minute War Games match build and someone yell War Games or something. I'm fine just announcing a Survivor Series. And then maybe if there's a reason to have a War Games match closer till, then you can organically announce it.
See, the only problem with that is selling tickets with a one-ring setup.
Oh, have they gone on sale already with just one ring?
I'm not sure, but you would think look into.
Yeah, okay,
not
good
going to announce it till closer to, then you're going to be selling tickets in an area, and now we're adding a second ring. Now we need to move people's seats and this and that.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure how that logistically works on having to move everything around, and if you're going to have, because the rumor always was Vince didn't want War Games because it was two rings and it takes away from floor seats.
No, that's right. Very good point. Well, the point I was getting with that was I would love to ask Cody. Yeah, would he ever want to be in a part of a War Games match? He hasn't.
He was supposed to be in the first Blood and Guts, and COVID canceled that.
Exactly. So I hope. I wonder if that's a personal goal of his.
It has to be with Dusty creating the match and all that,
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like maybe that could keep him busy through the fall season. Is somehow he gets a team together and they have a match at War Games. So that could be something to keep him busy for maybe like a month at least minimum. So I hope
Judgment Day versus Cody's Nightmare Family.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. So I think that's one way you can kind of keep him busy through the fall season before Royal Rumble season. So, but yeah, so that's something I would love to see. I'm sure Cody would love to participate in at least one War Games match. So speaking of other matches though, and this is something I kind of want to combine all together. Earlier we're talking about what number of matches can be displayed for SummerSlam, and kind of right now, early indication, it looks like we're gonna get 4 women's matches for SummerSlam. It's not official yet on the website, on Wikipedia, and all that stuff. But based on the direction they're going on Raw and SmackDown, it looks like we're gonna get 4 women's matches here, which is exciting. I know for a lot of people who may be critical of Triple H's booking and creative, maybe not enough attention put into the women's division in certain scenarios and builds for like WrestleMania and whatnot. But for SummerSlam here, it is exciting to see there could be four women's matches here. So I'll just run down the list real quick. It was announced this week. So Asuka will defend her title against Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Trish versus Becky, Shayna versus Ronda, and then Rhea Ripley defending against Raquel. And Raquel, we'll talk about what happened to her on Raw this week in a little bit. But yeah, Tim, we'll just kind of start big here. Your overall thoughts of just potentially 4 matches for SummerSlam weekend.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I mean, of course, we're going to get the 2 women's title matches for sure. We know what the SmackDown one's going to be. That's been announced. The Raw one, I mean, we're to assume it's Raquel, but if you think about it, at the end of Raw last week, Liv did come out and attack or take down Rhea. She jumped her. I don't think it's going to be Liv, but if you do the whole injury angle of, well, Raquel's too hurt, Liv's going to fight in her honor. So I think it's going to be one of those 2. And then we have Trish and Becky, where I said it the last 3 weeks now, get Trish off my TV. She is not good in this role. I am not liking any of this Trish Stratus stuff. Like, oh, boy. And then Shayna and Ronda. Who's the babyface? Who's the heel? Because they flip it every single week.
Exactly. So, okay, let's go down the list here of all these matches. So, on SmackDown this week, it was on social media. They made it official. Asuka will defend against Charlotte and Bianca. This week, Charlotte had a match with Io. Bayley was on the on commentary, but halfway through left when video of Shotzi came up, like horror movie-esque, creeping out Bayley, like, I'm coming after you. After last week, Shotzi had the video of shaving her head in response to Bayley.
Have you seen the photo of her with the shaved head?
Yeah, from the live show. Yeah. It was pretty badass. Cool. Yeah. But on a serious note, though, kudos to Shotzi, who, if you may or may not know, her sister is battling cancer right now. I've met her sister before at wrestling shows because, Shotzi is from the Bay Area. So I've met her before at shows and concerts throughout the years. And so she doesn't have her hair right now. So Shotzi did it just to support her sister. So she shaved her head too. So that's very cool. It's just, there
were some people on Twitter that didn't know that, and they were crapping on the storyline. And it's like, hey, how about you do a little research before you look dumb?
Exactly. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I was trying to think of a witty way of referencing that person, but
not gonna name any names.
No, I'm not gonna, or even initials. But anyway, but yeah, no, kudos to Shotzi for doing that to support her sister. That's awesome, and I definitely wish the best for her sister. Hopefully, things go well for her in this battle. But no, it's cool though. As far as on TV though, Shotzi playing mind games with Bayley.
I like it a lot.
Bayley was like, "Oh my god, like this is like Shotzi's first real one-on-one story." I know she had the feud with Ronda briefly last year at Survivor Series, but this is like her first really single storyline here. I'm like, oh, cool, great opportunity. Bayley left during the match. Io was like, "What's going on?" and lost to Charlotte, and so Charlotte wins here, and just kind of building her up for her match against Asuka. Asuka came out and attacked her, so just adding more between there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this triple threat match plays out, and then with Io and Bayley kind of lurking in the background there. So a lot of different directions they can go, a lot of unknown going into a match, which we want in pro wrestling. We want that unknown, especially you don't want to make, when it comes to predictions, you got to have that element of what could happen. So it's I'm really looking forward to that match at SummerSlam, and where Io can get involved. So I am worried because wasn't there a rumor that the women's Money in the Bank winner this year was going to have a failed cash in? So I was like, no.
I don't know about a rumor. I've seen the tweets of people saying it, but I don't know where it actually came from.
Okay, good, because I love Io. I want Io to win at some point. That's what I'm getting at here. Then over on Raw, we saw Becky and come out on Miz TV, and I just loved it. She just grabbed the mic and says, "We know it's gonna happen on Miz TV. The other guest is gonna be my opponent trying to attack me. Just bring out Trish." So Trish comes out, and the stipulation is if Becky beats Zoe next week or this week on Raw, then she'll get the match with Trish at SummerSlam, which has been the rumor for the last like 4 months.
It's like right after Mania.
Yeah. So,
you don't think Becky gets the tattoo?
I know, right?
I'm like, Trish, oh, that's such a dumb stipulation because we know it's never gonna happen.
Yeah, totally. So we can assume Becky's gonna win on Raw this week, and then get her match with Trish at SummerSlam. So that's gonna be, I'm sure for Becky, it's gonna probably be cool to get a rematch after Night of Champions.
Right.
So we'll see how that plays out, and then what was the other? Oh, Ronda and Shayna Baszler. So yeah, Shayna comes out this week on Raw, has a squash match with Nikki Cross, which is kind of a bummer because Nikki Cross is a former Raw Women's Champion. But I get it. You got to build Shayna up more for her match with Ronda, and it's part of the rebuild process. After the match, we see Ronda up in the suites, grabs the microphone, calls out Shayna. And this exchange was very interesting because more or less, just to sum it up, Ronda said, like, while you're complaining you had it tough because you had to go to the indies and you go to the performance center and learn from the best people in the world versus me, I had to go and earn, like, I won my titles, my Olympic gold medals and dominate the sport. And then I get signed with WWE and I get thrown with the Wolves debuting at WrestleMania. Don't you think that's a lot tougher than your system of like a natural progression? Which I could see where she's coming from.
Yeah,
but
they both have their pros and cons.
Yeah. I guess my issue was maybe the delivery, because Ronda, she was just like speaking so fast.
Yeah.
And talking like in this, spitting venom, which comes off very heelish like.
So that's like Ronda it felt like Ronda may have been a little over scripted.
Yeah, like she probably realized, okay, all these talking points I need a reference here, and she's like spitting them all out. And it's like, whoa, slow down, like kind of maybe sell each point here. I get what she's trying to say is like you're saying you had it tough because you had to go through this longer system, but look at it from my point of view where I had to sink or swim right out of the gates, and that's because I dominated each sport to get there. So it's like, I've always had to prove myself. Don't hate me because I'm just that talented and I earn my reputation. But when it came to wrestling here in WWE, I was thrown in the wolves. I couldn't go through that natural progression like you did. So I see both sides, but then Shayna counters and she's going to say, I'm going to be the real Ronda Rousey, which was you beat your own person.
You are saying Ronda's better than you.
Yes. But I saw some people commenting like it felt like a double turn here. It's like Ronda started as the baby face, but by the end of this exchange, she was the heel. And now Shayna, you want to root for Shayna to beat Ronda here. So it's going to be really interesting how this booked. I mean, I think you and I talked about last time that reports are Ronda has a hard out after SummerSlam. And so I'm sure Ronda's going to put Shayna over one of her best friends. So, early prediction there. But
just thinking here, Shayna's never had a match on the SummerSlam card. I mean, it would only been like the last 2 years or so.
I don't think
Ronda had the line of, hey, I'm going to do you a favor and finally get you booked on SummerSlam.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too. Shayna started running up the steps to go get Ronda. And that's very like a baby face thing to do. Like go after the a-hole.
You want to hide from me? I'll come get you.
Yes, like when Cody Rhodes in AEW when he went after Jericho in the suite, like that's a babyface behavior to run up the steps and go after the heel. So yeah, this whole thing, I know it's very rushed because they have limited time to get to SummerSlam between Money in the Bank and now, so they have like 4 weeks to tell this story, which really should have been done over a span of a couple months at minimum. So it's unfortunate there, but I'm excited for the match. I'm sure it's going to be hard hitting. Deep down, they are friends, so they're going to probably want to deliver, for the time being, a one-time only match between the two of them. So I'm sure they're going to go balls to the wall there and just really try and deliver a great performance. Last, though, let's talk about Rhea Ripley. So Raquel and Liv were defending their titles against Chelsea and Sonya. they're doing a promo. Rhea approaches Raquel, confronts her, and then they start fighting. And during that melee, Rhea kicks Raquel's knee, takes it out, and she's injured. Still wants to compete in a match. So that's their out there that Raquel was injured. Ultimately, they lose the match, drop the titles to Sonya and Chelsea, which is cool.
I like it.
I think a lot of people are happy for Chelsea and Sonya. One, they've known each other since 2015's Tough Enough. Mm-hmm. And for them, in the short time they've come together, they really had a great natural fit. Like, they kind of dress similar. So they're really doing their part to be like a legit tag team or be presented as a tag team.
Their characters work very well together because Chelsea's the Karen who's always like, let me speak to your manager and this, that. Yeah. And Sonya's character is, I used to be management. I don't like the current management. It just kind of fits. Again, it was supposed to be Carmella with Chelsea, and then Carmella got pregnant and all that. But I mean, we didn't really see where the pairing could have gone because they only were together for like 2-3 weeks. But I really do like Chelsea and Sonya together a lot.
And they kind of got a great dynamic. Like, Sonya is like the MMA background, so she's kind of comes in, has that badass brawler, persona to her. And then Chelsea, with her style, it's really, they are different, but they're also very similar with the character work. So I'm digging this, and I think it's like a fresh start for the women's division, the tag team division. Yes. I think now you can get some new storylines with them as heels and maybe build up some babyface tag teams to go after them. And hopefully they'll have a pretty long title reign, and they can really rebuild that women's tag team division, because I think a lot of people want to see that succeed. And so I think this is a great opportunity to do so. And I think nothing against Raquel and Liv. I know they are a fun tag team together, but I think a lot of people want to see Raquel get that push.
Yeah.
Based on this interaction with Rhea, it looks like maybe Raquel and Rhea could be the matchup for SummerSlam, because I'm sure they want to see Rhea wrestle on the big stage at SummerSlam. And so it's right there, Raquel as her opponent. So, and they are friends too. They came up through NXT together. So,
and they had great matches together in NXT too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. So I'm excited for this matchup here. So I'm all for Rhea versus Raquel, and I'm sure we'll see this on Raw this week. Just make it probably official at some point, and go from there. So let's see, what else was there. So that was just all the women's. Oh yes, we talked about Chelsea and Sonya, new women's tag team champions now. All right, let's talk about the U.S. title picture right now over on SmackDown. So last week they started the United States Championship Invitational. Santos Escobar won. This week, everyone thought LA Knight was going to win. Unfortunately, no, he did not win. Rey Mysterio picked up the win. We'll talk about those matchups in a second. Let's talk about LA Knight here. I think a lot of people thought by losing here, he's being buried. He's now not going to have a reason to be at SummerSlam. What's your thoughts on the state of LA Knight?
I feel like it's a lot of, we know everybody loves him. We know he's really good, but then we don't know what to fully do with him. We can tell that they know he's going to get a good reaction when he gets that extra long entrance he gets to come out with a microphone. He gets to come out and speak to the crowd before his matches. So it's like, they know he's going to get those good reactions, but do they know what they want to do with him? And we've heard he's going to get a push after WrestleMania. Oh, he's going to get a push after Money in the Bank. Now the new one is, he's going to get a push after SummerSlam. Well, there's only so many times we can hear that where whoever's reporting that, we go, okay, you're just making stuff up. Because you keep saying the same thing after every major show. But I know Wade Keller of PW Torch came out this week and was like, hey, Vince is even now seeing what LA Knight can provide and what he can bring. And yes, in the past, he has rubbed some people the wrong way, but there are also people in that locker room who have gone to bat for him.
Okay. Gotcha. So I want to be excited with that report that Vince has now grown to like him, because I think a lot of people were worried that he didn't. Hence, when he got called up from NXT, they repackaged him as Max Dupree, the head of Maximum Male Models. But then when he was gone, Triple H brought back him as LA Knight. So it shows that Triple H does like LA Knight for who he is. And obviously that was one of his guys back in NXT when he signed him. So fingers crossed is a good sign that Triple H and now Vince both like LA Knight and see that the crowd loves him. He's organically got over despite just losing matches. Merch sales are doing really good for him, and like they're making new shirts for him. All the signs that he should be okay.
Yeah. And
last week on SmackDown, he cut a promo saying he's going to win. Obviously, he did not win this week, but he still got to cut a promo before the match. No one else got to get a cut a promo. So
exactly.
That is a good sign, though. So I want to be optimistic here. I know it's tough as a WWE fan. How many times in history where people have organically liked someone and did not get the proper push or success or title wins or whatever the case may be. I think LA Knight at some point winning that US title will be really good because unfortunately Austin Theory is just not doing anything with that US title of significance.
Yeah.
Even this week at SmackDown, last week during the 4-way match for the US title qualification, Austin Theory was doing commentary. This week he didn't do commentary. He just sat there.
That was weird. That was a little weird.
We're not going to put you on the microphone this time. You're not going to talk. You're just going to sit there and just look mad. So Rey Mysterio wins this week. So it's going to be him and Santos next week. And then the winner will face Austin Theory. Now, will that be on the Go Home episode of SmackDown? Will that actually be at SummerSlam?
I mean, there is a precedence put in from like last year where they would be building up these challengers for Gunther and the IC title. And we think it's going to be at the Premium Live event, and then it's that Go Home SmackDown. Yeah. We saw it 3 times, I think, last year. Yeah. Where they would build up an IC title challenger. Oh, cool. That's the whatever pay-per-view match. And then it's just on SmackDown. So that's why I think this could be a SmackDown match as well. You want one big match for that Go Home show, sell tickets in the city the night before the SummerSlam and whatnot. So I could see it on SmackDown. I'd prefer it to be a pay-per-view match, Premium Live event, but everything that they've done in the past year with the IC title on SmackDown says to me this will probably be a title match on the SmackDown show,
which I'm kind of okay with. Like you said, what they've been doing the last couple months on the Go Home episode of SmackDown on that Friday, the day before of the Premium Live events now on Saturday. They're trying to make it like a double package weekend here. Right. And because, back in the day where WWE have pay-per-view on Sunday, TakeOver would be that Saturday. So I like how WWE will make it like an action 1-2 punch of back-to-back days of great wrestling. So this is loosely kind of based on that model of making that SmackDown more meaningful. Yeah. So I can see that could be the U.S. title defended there as maybe the main event. I can also see, maybe they'll have the tag titles there because it does cross brands, or the women's tag titles are cross brands. So maybe that's how they kind of stacked up that Friday SmackDown, is all these titles that can go across both brands can be used there. I'm just, throwing ideas out. But we did see Santos versus Austin Theory this week on SmackDown. I wonder if that's a foreshadowing of the match we could see in a couple weeks. At this point, I think Santos is the favorite to win here and beat Rey, his mentor. I think
now, based off of, and this is Vince booking, but based off the past, Santos won, which leads me to think he's going to lose to Rey.
You think Austin Theory?
Well, no. I think because Santos beat Austin Theory on SmackDown, so I think you give him momentum going into the Rey match. You think he's going to beat Rey, and Rey beats him.
Okay, gotcha.
That's like what they used to do back in the day. Like, so and so just won a big match right before a pay-per-view. Then they lose at the pay-per-view.
Just throwing us out there. So maybe Rey beats Santos, then goes on to face Austin Theory. Could Santos get upset with that loss, and that begins the dissension between LWO?
I hope not.
Or just don't
because
it out there.
I just don't think we need another group right now that's got dissension. We've got the Bloodline. We've got the supposed dissension in Judgment Day.
Yeah,
I think we just need to keep them one little happy family.
I mean, I could see Rey, who has a bigger star power, and if they're trying to need that U.S. title, the main event, that SmackDown, I can see Rey being there, the one to sell for ratings purposes. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I have a feeling whoever wins next week is going to take that title off Austin Theory.
What if Rey wins and Dom and Rhea get involved and screw Rey?
Oh man, then people are gonna complain. Raw
Or they
people showing up on SmackDown.
or they try to screw Ray.
Mm-hmm.
They unsuccessfully hurt him in the match or whatever. He beats Austin Theory for the title, and then the next night we get like a Dominik Ray. I mean, probably too quick to set that up. Dominik Ray U.S. title match at SummerSlam?
Or let's see, they beat up Ray, take him out, so Austin Theory doesn't have a match, and then he goes to SummerSlam, and he's like, I want a match. I want to defend this title. And then, LA Knight comes out.
That'd be cool.
Just throwing out crazy ideas here. So we'll see. But I am looking for, I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's going to get his push after SummerSlam. Well, SummerSlam's in 2 weeks. So, that push could be starting in a couple weeks. So, just be patient. We've been patient enough already for the last couple months. So
Triple H keeps saying, hey, what did he say after Money in the Bank? Good things come to those who wait, or something like that.
Yeah. So, well, we've been waiting long enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, give it to me. Give me what I want, as Batista would say. But speaking of mid-card titles, over on Raw, the IC title, we saw Riddle have a rematch with Gunther, a rematch from Money in the Bank. Once again, Gunther just chopped the hell out of Matt Riddle. There's that one chop, and just Riddle went flying, and then like Riddle started trying to kick him back, but you could tell he was smirking a little bit because he's probably like, "Oh, dude, you hit me good. I'm gonna get you back now." So I like when they kind of break a character and they're trying to hold in their laughter. But yeah, Gunther picked up the victory again, and then he jumped on the table, grabbed the mic, and said, "Drew McIntyre, I want a match against you." So we're probably gonna get that match at SummerSlam, which I'm looking forward to, just to see a couple big hosses beat each other up after we saw their triple threat match at Mania.
So what are your thoughts on Gunther cutting all his promos on the announce table? I like it because it's different.
It's different. Yeah, and he's already a tall guy, so him standing up on the broadcast table just makes him more like everyone looking up to him. It's like, whoa.
Because the way they shoot it up, it looks great.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I actually saw some conversation online. I'll get your thoughts real quick. Gunther's IC title reign, it's been great. People love it. He's been dominant. He's probably going to beat Honky Tonk Man's record next month or within end of the summer. However, though, he hasn't any really meaty stories. He defends the title pretty regularly, has amazing matches, but he hasn't any like a real major feud other than maybe Sheamus. Nothing like major storylines built around him. It's been more just matchups set up for him and go at it. So,
well, and I think that's his thing. He doesn't need a lot of story per se. I think his whole thing is, I'm a champion. I'm a fighting champion. Just throw opponents at me and I'll beat them.
Okay.
How many people can I beat before I finally get beat?
And listen, we've seen a similar story in AEW right now with Orange Cassidy with that international title. So for anyone, the AEW purists out there, you can't complain or people, or excuse me, maybe more WWE fans who complain that AEW just has random stories. We are just kind of having random matchups, excuse me. We're kind of getting that with Gunther. It's just random matches, but nonetheless, it's still amazing matches to watch, and I'll always tune in for Gunther. So I wonder, if we're gonna get a more meaty story out of him at some point. I know Drew wasn't on Raw this week. I hope he's back on Raw this week and kind of.
Oh yeah, they announced the face-to-face with him and Gunther.
Okay, perfect, good. All right, so yeah, I want to see that. Just get me more emotionally involved for that match that I'm already looking forward to. All right, last thing we'll talk about here is Bobby Lashley. So last week we saw the Street Profits in the parking lot on their phone. They're saying, "Where's he at? Oh, he's coming. He's coming." Limo pulls up, and Bobby Lashley comes out, and the Street Profits jump in. They drive off. Then this week on SmackDown, we see Bobby Lashley backstage. He meets with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. So a lot of people are just speculating what is going on with Bobby Lashley. What does he have brewing right now? Just for the sake of fun, fan speculation, what do you kind of think could be going on here?
Meltzer reported after that SmackDown angle with the Street Profits, he's getting a new group, and it's most likely going to be Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Okay. Now, I don't know. We do know that there were some issues with COVID this past week. Maybe that's why the Street Profits weren't on SmackDown, and they did the little thing with Carmelo. Because Bianca had to get pulled from SmackDown, so maybe Tez had to get pulled as well. Maybe that's the whole thing, and so they couldn't really build anything up with that. But it's like he's getting a new group, but it's not the Street Profit or it's not the Hurt Business, even though you've got Cedric and Shelton doing nothing but getting killed by Indus Sher. So it's like, do we want to see? And I get it. They ain't doing anything with the Street Profits. They haven't done anything with the Street Profits in almost a year.
Yeah.
So it's like, we do need something with them. Pair them with Bobby. But we know Bobby, MVP, Shelton, Cedric were amazing. Short-lived during COVID. Would love to see that group in front of an actual crowd.
Yes.
Now they're going to go a different direction. Why? Why is... And I think it could be... Could they do this? Bobby picks Street Profits. We then see MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric confront him on that, going, oh, you need people, but you don't want us. We were always there for you and this and that. And then you got these guys. What makes them better than us? And then maybe we get MVP back in the ring for the first time in a couple of years, teaming with Shelton and Cedric against Bobby and the Street Profits. Just something I just thought up right now. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. 3-on-3 right there.
Why are they better than us when we always had your back for so long? For that whole, what was it, almost a year we had the Hurt Business?
It was awesome. I love what the Hurt Business were doing. And yeah, that's probably the one of the big things that was unfortunate about the Performance Center, aka the Thunderdome era in WWE, is outside of Drew McIntyre winning the title in front of no one, the Hurt Business never got to perform in front of the WWE Universe.
They got to beat people up on Raw Underground.
Yes, that was epic. They came out their suits, unbuttoned the suits, and just started going kicking ass. Yeah, I would love to see the Hurt Business on our TV in front of a live audience just to hear that reaction. I wonder, if it's like a Hurt Business 2.0 type concept, is this going to lead to, the Bloodline is, as we talked about earlier, is going away, or, they're wrapping up their story. They're going to break down, eventually dissolve. I wonder if what Bobby's cooking is the next big faction to hold down the fort on SmackDown.
Right.
You got Judgment Day on Raw. You need something on SmackDown to kind of carry things. So maybe
you have the LWO on SmackDown. But...
True. And that could be a rivalry there as well. But maybe what they do here with the Hurt Business 2.0, that's what I was going to call it for hypothetical. Maybe, they can kind of have like an evolution type of appeal to it, as far as you got the tag team, you got Bobby Lashley, who's like the older leader, world champion, main eventer caliber performer. And then maybe you get like a fourth person there, which could be maybe Carmelo Hayes. And then I can see maybe between, and that's how I know everyone wants to see Montez Ford get that singles run. Maybe this is how you start building towards it. Like you give him that Randy Orton style of presentation, and like over time, when her Business 2.0 finally breaks up, Montez Ford versus Bobby Lashley, Montez wins, and then Montez gets soared to the main event picture scene.
The big question here: babyface group or heel group? Because have the Street Profits ever been heels?
I think, didn't they kind of start out in NXT as heels a little bit, like cocky?
Maybe, but they were like over cocky, like jock kind of guys a little.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can even fully call that heel. Maybe. I don't know. It's been so long.
That's a good point. Maybe they do go heel just to kind of freshen things up for their character work, and they can kind of do more of the trash talking, but from a heel standpoint. And then maybe
Bobby brings them into his lifestyle of, lavish things and suits and whatnot. Hey, no, we ain't wearing jerseys. We ain't wearing track suits. We ain't, at the gym. No, you're going to present yourself in a way that you look like you deserve to be at the top of the card.
Yeah,
like he did with the Hurt Business. Again, Hurt Business 2.0.
So then, does Carmelo Hayes get added into the fold as like the fourth member? And then you got Bobby, the main eventer, world title challenger, Street Profits, tag team titles. And then Carmelo could be the young guy, singles star, goes after the mid-card title.
The one question about Carmelo, though, you had Carmelo. What do you do? A trick? Do you leave him in NXT? Does he come with him? Every time we see Carmelo on the main roster, Trick is there with him. I get it. They're the top act in NXT right now, so they got to be kept together for now. But is there that time where eventually he gets called up, but Trick stays back?
I could see that, and then they break up their partnership on NXT, and that could be the storyline there.
Right.
Is Trick or Carmelo, whoever one of them turns on the other, and then they fight it out, loser leaves town type of thing, and then Carmelo gets called up at some point. So that could be one way. Because I think like they like the number 4, 4 members, just like 4 horsemen and whatnot. So I could totally see this could be maybe the beginning of like a evolution type stable over on SmackDowns. It's gonna be exciting. It just where this could lead into. I think dominant factions are very fun, as we know from Undisputed Era, 4 Horsemen, Evolution. I mean, we've seen it for decades. It's exciting stuff. So, I'm liking these little Easter eggs. Just get speculating what could go on. So, actually, but before I forget, real quick, speaking of Bobby Lashley, one of his opponents was supposed to be Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. What's the latest with Bray Wyatt? There was something online on Twitter. People were speculating like he might make an appearance or return at SummerSlam, or is that
okay? Hold on, I need to pull something up then, because there was a tweet about Cody Rhodes that came from his Twitter account.
Okay.
Hold on, let me.
Sorry, on the fly right now. They just
you're fine. I know. I have it right here because Nick actually sent it to me yesterday or the day before, so I have it in my DMs. I can find it here really quickly because Nick was like, "Are they really going to do Bray and Cody?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then he sent me the tweet.
Oh no! Like it's
so it was maybe it was pooled. Is it not? Oh, here it is. Here it is. So. Some random Twitter account I've never seen before from 2019. Wait, okay, never mind. This is a very old tweet.
Okay.
This is a tweet. Never mind. I take it all back. This is a tweet from 2019, and it's been circulating now. So I'll just read it really fast, though. But it's a tweet from 2019 that's been circulating over the last couple of days. It was like a video of Husky Harris. They were asking Bray Wyatt, "Do you know who this man, this wannabe-looking guy is, whatever?" And Bray responds with, "At Cody Rhodes did that. He was his partner. He trusted him. He was ridiculous in front of the world for someone else's failed attempt at fame. It destroyed him. And from his ashes, a butterfly was born. But the memory remains." Now, that was back from 2019. And for some reason, this tweet has been making the rounds again this week.
So speculating Bray could go after Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, but I don't know why people are speculating it from a almost 4-year-old tweet.
Man, well, there's
also, I don't even remember Cody and Husky Harris being a team. Was that even a real thing?
I can't remember as well.
I don't
know. Well, so we'll see what happens at this intrigue for Cody Rhodes. Maybe that's what keeps him busy throughout the fall season.
The last report though on Bray was that there's no update. He's still dealing with whatever this illness is. Okay, so what this looks like was Cody Harris. Cody was Husky's NXT pro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
from that first season of NXT or second season, whatever. Yeah.
I'm not sure what season. But
that was like the first 2 seasons of the NXT.
Yeah. So I see a graphic right here. It says pro Cody Rhodes, rookie Husky Harris.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay, that's a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see a photo here. I'm looking online.
So yeah, that tweet from 2019 has been circulating. I don't know if like someone within WWE kind of tried to push it or why it started circulating again. No clue, because it's not like somebody even recent like commented on it. It just started getting retweeted recently by a number of different people. So it is very weird.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens here. Adding a little more intrigue to tune into SummerSlam. So,
right.
I'm looking forward to SummerSlam already. It's going to be a stacked card, and it is the hottest party of the summer, as they say. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we'll begin the countdown now. What, less than 2 weeks away from it now. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. So, all right. Well, on that note, we did talk a lot of WWE this week. So much going on. So let's start wrapping things up. Tim, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
Basically, you can find most of my work at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, whether that's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. Or you can find my personal stuff at Timmy Buddy. Yeah, go over there, hang out, have a good time, and talk some wrestling.
Absolutely. And by the way, if you're watching this video on YouTube, if you couldn't tell, the new awesome overlay graphic, shout out to you, Tim. Thank you for doing this.
Not a problem.
Last minute. Like I said, if you couldn't tell already, I think it's safe to say you're the official, unofficial third man, brother, of this podcast. As far as the amount of work you put into this, you're helping me out. So thank you for doing this. The graphics awesome. And yeah, please, as it says at the top here, subscribe to In The Kliq, where we get your podcasts at. Or if you subscribe to us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video as well. And then, yeah, as it says down below, follow us on social at In The Kliq on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And on Baby Huey, follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter, and Instagram at BabyHuey83. If you want to email us, you can do so in thekliq@gmail.com. I still want to do like a fan mailbag episode.
That'd be cool.
One of these days where we can kind of like let people email us their questions and have a fun discussion about various things, maybe like roundtable style, get some other people on. So I'll have to work that out, the details at some point. So, but yeah, on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.